And what I love about being a Pyladies organizer is having absolute freedom to decide what is the best thing to do in our chapter. Because every place is unique. Every city is unique. So for example, in Berlin, we started in 2013, and we had monthly meetups with talks and hands-on sessions. We always try to have hands-on sessions. We had only a few members and a fixed location. So nowadays, we have 4 times the people attending. Our social network outreach is pretty big. And we had many men and women speaking in our events, and registered coaches that help us whenever we do a hands-on session, either for the small ones or for the full-day workshops. We go to a different company every time to get to know what they are doing as well. And our organizing team counts currently 5 members. So we started with these monthly meetups, but we are doing now many more events. We are doing full-day workshops for different topics. MicroPython and beginners we've done, and advanced people. Then we do setup events to help, like the setups in Django Girls, to help beginners get started with the necessary tooling, like PIP and IDE and GitHub. And also we do panel sessions to discuss important community topics. And cross-community events that we work together with other Berlin communities in order to broaden our perspective and our audience. We have done in total 82 events. But before I say more about Pyladies Berlin, I would like to go back of how it all started for me. So when I first heard about Pyladies, I was in EuroPython in 2012, the biggest Python conference in Europe. And there was a Pyladies lunch in the schedule. And my first reaction was like, a group only for women? I was skeptical. I thought, why is this needed? Isn't this discrimination against men? So before you jump into conclusions very fast, like I was doing, let's see where I was coming from. So my mother was a very powerful woman. She never discouraged me in any of my choices. I studied computer science in a 50% women and 50% men environment. And even my first working project, we were 3 women and 1 man. So until that moment, I didn't understand. I didn't realize that women didn't have equal chances to join and evolve in tech. Thankfully, despite my whole skepticism, I joined this Pyladies lunch. And then I heard other women's stories, much different than mine, of having felt a hostile environment in their studies, in their workplace, being discouraged before joining university. And then I realized that unfortunately, equality is a work in progress. Women have been discriminated and discouraged from joining tech and other science topics, and even thinking practically sometimes. And when they were not discouraged, they might not be given equal chances in the workplace later. Pyladies initiative is here to bridge this gap by building a safe networking environment. Encourage women not only to be in tech, but lead, spread knowledge, inspire, hack and learn, and be role models in order to make a difference. So my first learning was that raising awareness matters, and it can make a difference. And in my case, it really made a difference. I always admired how people would put their small bit into a community, creating something bigger. So when I had my chance, together with another Pylade in Berlin, we started the chapter Pyladies Berlin. We had our first event. There was a lot of excitement, and it was great. Very, very soon I realized, what do the organizers' tasks look like? So it's about describing an event, posting it, finding hosts, finding speakers, present, and make sure it is an inclusive environment. And all this on time. So it's about communication, being proactive, and social. Let's see where I was at that time. So I was a backend Python developer. I was a lady, and I liked to help others. But my inbox looked like that. These are the unread messages. I was not using any social network and any self-organizing tool. And I was terrified to speak when it were more 3 or 4 people. So I thought, how can I do that? I always was feeling I can't do it so much better, I have an imposter syndrome. Have you ever felt the imposter syndrome? Who has felt here imposter syndrome? So it took me really long time, an inspiration by my co-organizer, Jessica, for example, that she quit her job, and in a year, she self-taught herself tech, Python, and Go, and front-end. And in 1 year, doing all this, then she got a job, and now she's working in one of the most successful and eco-friendly startups in Berlin. So seeing these examples, and even my son that is growing, seeing him, how when he learns things, he's just simply learning. So I realized that everything is a skill that can be trained and improved. So we can find resources. We can ask people that are experienced and get material and learn the process. How should it be done? And iterate over and over and over again and learn something we thought we were not good at. And that applies literally for everything. Everything is a skill and can be trained. And that is for leadership, for dancing, for fridge organizing, and of course for any technology. So we go through the process, we do the steps again and again and again, and we are really focused to improve. But we should not forget one very important thing. I think here in Africa you have it well. Not forget to have fun with this, right? It's without fun, we are not machines. Without fun, it's nothing. Our learning is reinforced when we have fun. So, focus on the process, really. Learn it. If you don't know it, learn it. And keep it fun. Enjoy it. Okay, let's see some of these organizing skills I had to get better in order to be an organizer there. Time management. The really tricky thing, and the most important thing with time management, is breaking the task into small pieces, into very small pieces. So they can be done in 10 or 30 minutes maximum. And that goes not only for organizing, it goes for learning. Let's say, make a blog. That is a bit too much. We'll put something really small, something you can do and feel the progress. So for example, I have my to-do list for Pyladies, and it looks like this. Really, reply to one email, something really small. I have to move all our resources to GitHub. I will say, add the talk guide to GitHub, only this. And we have to remember to have fun. So for me, taking things out of the list gives me this sense of progress, and It's nice. Could be that we need more motivation than taking things out of the list, though. And as an organizers, we need a lot of motivation to keep going and do more things. I think the most important thing here is sharing the load. We should not be alone. So we want more organizers in the team to do this together. For us, getting more organizers, we shout out that we are looking for organizers and making sure we say what an organizer is doing. Because many people think I need to be hardcore technical, 10 years of experience. No, it has nothing to do. There is something else that can help us with motivation. I had totally underestimated this thing. Marketing. Marketing ourselves. Marketing our community. Talking about it. Shouting about it. So it's not only for the other people. It's important for us. It makes us appreciate better what we are doing. So in the context of the community, what we can do here is taking photos, a lot of photos, and announcing the events on time, create tension, excitement about them. Everyone should talk about it. Then afterwards, write a blog post, share the material, and then focus on the positive things. As an organizer, there is always room for improvement for what we are doing. But let's focus on the really good things that we did well. And of course, celebrate all the small victories. That's really easy to have fun. Take your co-organizers and hug them. Go out with them. Have a drink. Enjoy them. Your relationship. Okay, so we are kind of organized now, and somebody needs to do the public speaking. So it's either us or somebody else. Let's see some tips we can work on that are coming from Jessica, my co-organizer, that is also a great public speaker. So find a topic you are passionate about. You found it interesting. Use the speaker notes. You cannot see them, but I can. That gives you can write the whole script of your talk. And then smile. I'm working on it. I don't know if I managed to. And take a power position to make you feel grounded and powerful. And then practice, practice, practice. It's all about practice. You can record yourself to see how it looks. I had a lot of fun trying that, failing, trying again, and then failing. And also diving to a topic that you love is also a lot of fun and learning it better. But the really cool thing about public speaking is that it not only makes us greater and good presenters, it's leading by example. It inspires the rest of the ladies to do the same. So in our meetup, we decided at some point to switch to a women for women. We want to have mainly women speakers and women coaches, because that is a growing opportunity for the women speakers and an inspired thing for all the rest. So we have mostly women speakers, and we want to give them our full support. So we have a speaker guide with resources in order to make an amazing talk. And the coaching program, giving feedback in the talks and the slides, and then rehearsing even the talk if they want to. And if you wonder how to get more women speakers, there is a call for speakers always that sometimes works, but with women, getting to talk to them and say, okay, what are you doing? What are you working on? All this and that. So encourage them and say, okay, that's an interesting topic. We want to hear about it. So we also tell them that we have a very diverse audience, from professional machine learning to total beginners. So we want the workshops that we do to help everybody. So it's better to be like self-paced, like the Django Girls workshop, where the material is there and everybody can go on their own time. And having many coaches to help. Also interactive is very fun. We had recently an event exchanging cards where the attendees had to explain what they learned from the card to the other person and try them together in the console of Python. Okay, so our speakers are also ready, and now it's event time. But we want also a warm environment, right, and friendly. I have to say, for this we need socializing skill. And I think people here in Africa, you handle this part very well. We had this great warm welcome before, and this tour the other day was amazing. So Northerners, we struggle much more on these things. I want only to mention the Pac-Man rule. It's relevant for conferences, and it says that when you talk in the corridor after and talk in a circle, don't just close the circle, leave it open, and be mindful if somebody wants to come, to feel welcome in the circle. Okay, yeah, and have fun warming up or whatever. So bottom line, we have to be mindful to think of the shy people, to make sure everybody feels nice, everybody has their food, everybody's nice. Okay, so we, the organizers, are very ready to make an amazing event. But what about all the rest of the people? There is speakers, coaches, venue, attendees. So we have a code of conduct in place that sets our expectations for the behavior of everybody involved. If somebody doesn't want to comply to the code of conduct, it's fine. You don't need to be involved. This guarantees a safe environment. We don't want only just to be safe. We also want it to be inclusive. Having an inclusive environment, in order to do that, we need to raise awareness. So, raising awareness and educate. And how we can do that is by talking and sharing links. So we have to raise awareness to men, women, and companies. So we have all these guides with tips of how to be more inclusive and mindful. So for example, the coaching guide, you can check the Jungle Girls coaching guide. It's an amazing resource giving great tips. For example, assume everyone you are coaching has zero knowledge but infinite intelligence. So I encourage everybody to read these coaching guidelines and then think about them. Think how can you use them with your colleagues, with your mentees, with your wives, your friends, your mothers, and everybody in the world. Makes people feel nicer when they are included. We can go even deeper in empowering women, because all this inequality has led to women have very low confidence. And we hear a lot of these things. I did nothing. Oh, I have nothing to say. I just did this small project. I'm a bad developer. Unfortunately, I have heard many of these things in our meetups, and I have said myself many of these. So we all have to help to change that and make the I did nothing to I did great stuff. I have a lot of things to say. The things I'm doing. I did a great project, and it's not I'm a bad developer. I am a learner. So somebody can do really many things for being inclusive. I want to stress out childcare. Without childcare, some people cannot attend these events. It's very hard work for the organizers to provide childcare, but we think it should be a standard offering in all big tech events, especially in weekends. We hope so. So having an inclusive environment meant that we had to iterate a lot in our gender policy. So what we came up with is that we believe knowledge is for all, and at the same time, our events aim primarily to empower women we request non-women attendees to be aware of the situation and make their presence discreet, either by coming with a female +1, or to ensure gender balance, or avoid to be heard more than the rest of the attendees in the discussions and question sections. So we had some cases, one event, a few events, that we had more men than women. And other cases that a man speaker, you know how men jump into asking questions. You know what? Women don't do that so much. So the man attendee just jumped into answering the question, and then we had 2 men speaking for 15 minutes about the details of a Python library in a women empowering event. This didn't feel right, huh? But this has worked marvelous. So I encourage you to check out, if you're interested, all our resources and the guides we have here. And if you want the Pyladies organizing full resource, check out Read the Docs from Pyladies Vancouver. It's a very complete one. Okay, let's see if we can draw some conclusions. What is the impact of our community? It's not easy to measure impact, but I will say some things I have witnessed myself. So I have witnessed many times women being more active in the community, speaking after in conferences, being coaches, asking questions, giving feedback with ideas what we can do. Or in the technical perspective, getting to see new uses of Python, and then tech projects coming out from the workshops we did. And the most rewarding from all, women inspired to join tech from the beginning and learn, and later on, you see them working. Also, finding better jobs, or just finding their first job through our networking in our different companies. And of course, I'm very grateful to say that I have seen both men and women raising awareness in their workplace and in their communities. And I think that is the key to really progress and make a difference. So let's see what were the key learnings that, for me, contribute more in our success in Pyladies Berlin community. So getting more organizers, number one. And don't wait for it when it's too late and you are overwhelmed. Do it on time when everything is going well, because otherwise there is a burnout possibility. Going to conferences and setting up booths like companies do. And then this way you can raise awareness by talking to people and getting speakers and hosts and attendees. Cross-community events can be particularly tricky if it's a community that is not believing in inclusiveness and diversity, but there is the opportunity to raise awareness. Social media has made so much more successful our meetup. It makes us feel better, communicate with the people. It's an amazing tool. Then women for women. We try to go mostly with this. The results are, it's a domino effect. Also having these coaches that help us jump in fast whenever we need to deliver better content for our attendees. And I want to say a few things about these panel sessions. So women sometimes focus so much in their technical skills, and they forget that working in tech is not only technical skills. There is a lot of things like finding allies, or tips how to grow your career, or salary negotiation skills. And all these things can be discussed in a panel session greatly. And then also these beginners workshop, like Django Girls or setup events. This way we really get the ultimate beginners, because otherwise they are afraid to come to our workshops, unfortunately. But coming in these beginners ones, then they are fun and they join. So, is it worth it? I think it's an opportunity to feel like you run your own company. Taking all the roles, being the CEO, the CTO, the manager, the coach, growing personally, and making strong connections. And all this by helping women being more active in the community. It is a unique experience. Pyladies feels like a global family. So remember, everything is a skill that can be learned and trained. Stay motivated and have fun. In closing, I would like to thank my co-organizers in Pyladies Berlin, the Python Software Foundation that has helped us in many occasions, and of course the PyCon Africa organizers and volunteers for making such a great event happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.